Hello! So for this assignment, we will be focusing on Chapter 15, non-parametric tests specifically. So non-parametric tests are those that don't rely on parametric assumptions, much like parametric tests. So they're very flexible, less restrictive. And like it says here, they don't rely on restrictive assumptions. So they're, like I said, like 2 seconds ago, they're very, very flexible. So some non-parametric tests include the Wilcoxon rank sums test. Oh, nope. Why did I delete that? Wilcoxon's rank sum test. So that's the Mann-Whitney test. The Wilcoxon's signed rank test. The Kruskal-Wallis test. I will call this the JT test. That is not what it's called, but the only reason why I'm calling it that is because I do not want to butcher the name, and I feel like that would be a very big disservice. And then the last test is the Freedman's test, Freedman's ANOVA. So these are some of the non-parametric tests that are discussed in the particular chapter that I read. And they're very much reflective of the parametric tests. So for example, the Wilcoxon's rank sums test is very similar to the independent t-test. The Wilcoxon's signed rank test is very similar to the dependent t-test. Kruskal-Wallis test is very similar to the one-way ANOVA. JT test as well. The Freedman's ANOVA is very similar to repeated measures ANOVA. So you see, when you actually go through each non-parametric test, you're actually gonna see that the only difference between the tests, between these non-parametric tests and their parametric counterparts, is the fact that they don't rely on those assumptions as much. They do have assumptions, but as far as parametric assumptions go, they don't rely on them as heavily. So that's what makes them pretty useful. So they're pretty cool tests. I have to admit it. I wasn't a believer until this assignment, and I'm a believer now. So my research procedures, for number 1, I'm going to do the Wilcoxon's rank sums test. So essentially this test compares two conditions when you have different participants partaking each condition. So the assignment that I have actually created will examine the differences or potential differences in anger as a result of experiencing covert or overt marginalizing acts. So my predictor variables is marginalizing acts. So this predictive variables consists of microaggressions as a covert marginalizing act, and discrimination as a overt marginalizing act. My outcome variable is anger, because of course if you experience these acts, you're gonna be extremely upset, and you're gonna express anger. So with that, my predictive variable has 2 levels. My outcome variable is continuous. And the research question that I propose is there a potential difference in anger through experiences of overt or covert marginalizing acts? So the next research procedures that I'm going to do is the Kruskal-Wallis test. So this particular test, like I mentioned before, it is similar to a one-way ANOVA. So it compares several conditions when different participants take part in each condition. So the conditions consist of the number of conditions you want to have for this are 3 or more. You could do it for 2, but you're gonna run into some bumps. You're definitely gonna run into some bumps along the way. So it's highly recommended to essentially mirror what the one-way ANOVA would consist of. So this assignment is going to examine if hairstyles of black women have an impact on ratings of attractiveness. So my predictive variable is hairstyle, and hairstyle, I put hairstyles. Anyways, it's going to consist of relaxed hairstyles, natural hairstyles, and extensions or weave, whichever one you want to use. So with the relaxed hairstyles, these particular hairstyles are those that chemically straighten the hair. Chemically straighten black hair. Let me be specific. Natural hairstyles are those that are chemically untreated, and these treatments do not straighten the hair. And extensions and weave, I mean extensions and weave are not necessarily a hairstyle, but it's something to do with hair. And the reason I included it is because you can create hairstyles by wearing weave. So essentially, weave is either sewn onto your hair. There's clip-ins that you can use. There's tape. There's glue. You can glue on weave and extensions. What else can you do? You can fuse them together. You can fuse your hair and the weave extensions together. So that's what I mean by when I'm talking about weave and extension. So just add it on hair to your scalp, to your head. And my outcome variable is continuous, and that is attractiveness rating. And that is rated on a scale of 1 to 100. So in the next video, I'm actually going to be doing R. So, yep, this was just the introduction to what I wanted to do. So I will end this video.